Hello, and welcome back, or just welcome, period. It's been almost a month since I have posted anything, and it's been kind of crazy. I have a lot to catch you guys up on, a lot of exciting things to tell you about. First of all, if you are new here, then you won't really notice a difference. But if you're not, I have a new little filming setup, and I'm really excited about it. My husband agreed to help me pull out our bookshelf out of my closet, and we set it up in front of my desk, and I got a cute little lamp at Target. So now I feel like I've got kind of a cozy setting going on at my desk. I'll give you guys kind of a rundown of it all later. That's number one that's exciting, is that you can now see all my beautiful books. Number two, I got a few new kind of toys and fun things for Christmas that relate to this channel, and I'm really pumped about them. Number one is this beautiful little microphone right here in my hand. My audio from here on out should be just so much better, which I am so excited about. I didn't even think to ask for any kind of equipment for filming for Christmas. My husband was just so great as to kind of give a little bug in Santa's ear as to what I might need. If you notice that this is well lit, it's because I finally have some lighting that will help me film in the winter months, because I feel like in summertime, I don't know if anyone else who's a creator relates to this, but I felt so motivated when I got out of work in the evening because there was still daylight. I could go to a coffee shop for a few hours and get good footage and also just feel motivated. Well, now when I get out of work, it is dark out and it feels like the only thing I should be doing is going home, making dinner, and then going to bed. So having some lighting that actually gives me the ability to talk to you guys and feel excited about my setup just has me feeling so motivated. Now, if you've been looking out for a video from me and it's just been crickets, I'm sorry about that. As you guys know, during Nano or during November, I got sick at the beginning of the month, and I kid you not, I was sick for 5 weeks straight. It was kind of miserable, but I'm through it and I'm healthy now, so I'm very happy about that and grateful to be feeling better. But even though I was able to still draft 35,000 words in November for book 2 in my House of Aphtos series, it just felt like a drag. It was really hard to be motivated, and I'm grateful now that I'm through that. But then right at the beginning of December, we rolled into the holidays. My husband and I did a lot of travel over the holidays. We went to Michigan, Indiana. I spent a week in Florida. So everything was kind of busy. We saw a lot of family, and honestly, every day was jam-packed. So I decided to take that period of time that was already going to be busy with the holidays after coming off of being sick as just a time of actual rest and taking an actual break. I initially had goals of writing a lot over the holidays and maybe even filming some YouTube content, but as they got closer, I just kind of realized that was not going to be best fitting for our travel plans, or honestly for actually recuperating and feeling energized to go into the new year. So I took a break. That is why I've been MIA. I have not moved forward much at all with my current project, which, if you're new here, I am a first-time author planning to self-publish, or hoping to, working on my fantasy novel called House of Aphtos. I am hoping that it will be a trilogy. It's kind of an enemies to lovers romance vibe. There's lots of family dynamics at play and all the good world building things to sink your teeth into. So that's what I'm working on right now. I didn't really get any progress done with that project in the last month or so, but it is the perfect time to set new goals because it is the new year. Happy 2025, everybody. So this video is going to be me kind of resetting and realigning in my goals for the new year. I want to take you guys along with me in that as I reset and kind of set some new objectives, new goals, and lay out 2025. And then I think I'm also going to try to get a few writing sprints done, because I feel like the best way to set myself off on the right foot is actually to get some work done. Let's do some goal setting. Okay, so first of all, this is the new desk setup I love. I have a little old book here. I've got my glasses. This is a new candle that we have, which I'm gonna start burning, I guess. This little lamp from Target, $10, good find. It does rattle a bit, so I'm gonna be careful not to touch it. But up here, we've got some really wonderful things. We've got Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, which you know from watching a previous video, or you may know from watching a previous video, that I was feeling very middle ground about the series. Iron Flame, I'm almost done with it. I'm like 80% through, and I did just hit a chapter that kind of pulled me back into like the main overarching arc of the story. And so we'll see, because I had been thinking for most of this book that I probably won't finish reading the series, but I just kind of got drawn back in. So we'll see how I feel when I finish the second book, because the third book, as many of you probably know, comes out this month. So if I'm going to buy it, I should probably do that. I got all of the Throne of Glass series for Christmas. So this is a box set. I'm very excited about it, and it's beautiful. So she's great. She fills up a lot of the bookshelf, and she's all cohesive, which is wonderful. Next to her, I have two little miscellaneous ladies. I've got a quart of Mist and Fury and a quart of Wings and Ruin. I do own a quart of Silver Flames and a quart of Frosted Starlight. I have no idea where they are. So I had a idea of having all my Sarah J. Maas books in one line on the shelf, and don't know what happened to the other ones in that series. So eventually I'll find them and they will join this up here, but I don't have them right now. I don't own the first one. I don't have a quart of Thorns and Roses. I probably should, just so I at least have the complete series, but I haven't done that yet. And then over here we've got my first draft of House of Aptos. Just have to have it out there because why not? And then from here over are my husband's books. This is the Dune box set, which he read, I think 3 or 4 of those last year and loved them. And then these are some other Blake Crouch sci-fi books that he loves. And then down here and below is just a miscellaneous, all the books of all the things. So anyway, that's my bookshelf. I'll keep you guys updated because someday it's going to have my first book on there and I'm going to be excited to share that with you. But right now it has all the things that I'm inspired by, which is so good. The first thing I need to do to set 2025 off on the right foot, and if you have not done this, you also need to do this, is back up all your work. I had gotten in the practice of doing this since the beginning of November when I accidentally deleted my entire book, which if you were watching for that, you know it was traumatizing. So anyway, one of the things I put on my Christmas list is an external hard drive. So I got this one. It's teeny tiny. I love it. It is a SanDisk 2 terabyte one, and it really is like so small. I don't know if you can tell how little it is, but for how much you can store on this thing, I highly suggest investing in one if you don't already have one. So the first thing I'm going to do today is kind of back up some miscellaneous things I've had on my computer, not just projects, but other kind of documents, things I have for YouTube, all that stuff, before I start adding in new goal things, because I don't want to crowd up my computer and then accidentally lose anything. So I'm going to start with that. And then from there, we will start writing out our goals for 2025. And I'll kind of walk you guys through where I'm at with that. And then we will probably do a few writing sprints. So let's go ahead and back up our stuff. The first thing I'm going to do is back up my halfway revised version of House of Aptos. This is the main project that I'm going to be working on through 2025. I am planning to shelve book 2 and come back to it once book 1 is in much cleaner form, and maybe when it's off to be published, then I'll revisit book 2. If it happens before that, that'd be great, but I'm not planning on really visiting book 2 again in 2025. So I just saved the version of House of Aptos that I'm at right now. I'm halfway through part 2, and I've said in a couple other videos, but this book is split into 3 parts. I had a goal of getting through the rest of part 2 by the beginning of January. Given the break I decided to take over the holidays, that obviously didn't happen. So I'm currently on chapter 21 out of 35. It is likely that this book will end up being closer to 40 chapters, so there is some missing content. I think this book will get longer. Right now, it's standing right at around 80,000 words. So I'm about halfway done with revising it, at least in the form it's currently in. If you were to consider the length that will probably get added to this book, then I'm not technically halfway through, but that's okay because that is for the goal setting portion of this video when we talk about where we're at and where we want to be. So let's go ahead and back up this version so that I just know that I have at least what's revised to up to this point saved somewhere other than just on my computer, and that will help me feel A, peace of mind, but B, it will also keep some things cleared up off my computer, which will be very, very helpful. Okay, so I just saved that first version, or the current version of House of Aptos, and now I'm going to go through and I'm going to save book 2 just to be 100% sure that what is drafted for that is saved, especially since I won't be touching this book. I want to make sure that it is completely put away and untouched and safe the way that it is, because I do love book 2. I have said that in other videos, but I'm obsessed with what I've drafted in it so far, and I want to protect it at all costs. So I have both of those things now uploaded to this external hard drive. They are safe and they are put away, and just that's great. So now I'm going to be able to go in and clear a couple other things off the computer that I just don't want to keep on here. And then from there, we will get into goal setting. Okay, I just finished backing everything up and then clearing some stuff off my computer. And now I have over 30 gigabytes available, which is crazy because since I started this channel, it has been an ongoing battle to have more than like 12 gigabytes available. So I'm very excited about that. And now I feel like I have space in my brain too to start looking at goal setting for 2025. So I do have a couple goals about like background stuff of what I'm using throughout the year. One of those is to try Scrivener. So I'm going to add that onto this list, and I'm fully aware that Scrivener could be a great platform for me to do something like this video right now. But I want to do the free trial at some point and wait until I commit to it. I also needed to clear space off before I could download it and try it. So anyway, today we're going to set these goals on Google Docs, but it is one of my goals for 2025 to try Scrivener and see if I feel like it's worth the hype. So the first thing I'm going to do is start a new document called 2025 Writing Goals. And then from there, we're just going to start kind of planning out and mapping the things that I feel like I can achieve this year. And I'm going to do them in 3-month increments, I think. So that will give me 4 quarters this year to kind of get things done in. So the first one I'll be looking at is January, February, and March. And then from there, we'll move on. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I did was create a document just called 2025 Writing Goals. And from there, I want to go ahead and break things up into the 4 quarters that I had talked about. So let's start with that. I'm going to put quarter 1, and then this is January, February, and March. From there, we can segment down. I want to start with the month of January. In January, I would like to finish revising part 2. Okay, I do not like that bullet point. How about that one? Okay, complete revising part 2 of House of Aptos. I'm just going to use the abbreviation. And then that means completing 20 through 27. I'm going to put plus any additional content added in part 2. Okay. Another goal I have in January is to live stream as a guest, once as a host. Sure. Okay. What else do I want to do in January? Write before work. 1 day a week minimum. I have an idea where I get up before work and go to my favorite coffee shop. It opens an hour before I have to be at work. So I told my husband this morning that one of my goals is getting up at least an hour plus before work and being there when it opens to write for an hour by myself at least 1 day a week. That's my goal. And I'm actually going to put, instead of 1 day, I'm going to put before work on Wednesdays, because I think if I give it an assigned day, then it's more apt to happen. So right before work on Wednesdays, for an hour on Wednesdays. Okay, so those are 3 of my main goals for January: to complete revising part 2, live stream twice, and write before work for an hour. And then I'm also going to add in upload a YouTube video weekly. This one shouldn't be anything out of my normal practice. I just think because I haven't been posting for the last 3 weeks, I might need the actual reminder on my list to help me get through that. Okay, so now we're on to the month of February. So for February, the goal is to have part 2 completed. So that would mean I need to work on revising. Okay, I cannot type. Revising part 3 of House of Aptos. I would give myself just a month for that. However, I know myself, and I don't think 4 weeks is enough for me to adequately revise in the way that I am currently revising. I've learned that through revising parts 1 and 2 so far, or obviously I'm not completely done with part 2, but I'm trying to kind of front load some of the work so that way my draft 3 can be a little bit more about detail and less about overall story structure. So my honest guess is that part 3 will take me all of 5 weeks to revise, if not possibly 6. That all depends on how much content I add. And I really do think there's another 5,000 to 10,000 words that I could add into part 3. So that being said, I don't think I'm going to complete revising part 3 in just February unless I really am diligent about writing multiple hours a day. However, with still having a 40-hour-a-week full-time job, I don't know if that's going to be achievable. So one of the things I want to do in 2025 at least a better job at is being realistic about the things I can achieve in the time frames I can achieve them in. I want to set writing goals that push me towards success and better writing habits rather than writing goals that push me into a frenzy or make me feel stressed or like I failed all the time. So I'm going to give myself February to work on part 3, and I'm not going to set the goal to complete it until March. So the second goal, I need to look at the chapters. So that would be revise chapters 28 through, right now the book is, like I said earlier, 35 chapters. I'm going to go ahead and just guess that I know it'll be at least 38 chapters. So that gives me 10 chapters to revise in the month of February. And then I will put the same thing of plus any additional content added in part 3. And then obviously I will add in March that I know I can finish this. So I'm actually going to just copy and paste this into March and change a little bit of the wording. Complete revising part 3 of House of Aptos. And I would hope that by the end of February, I am at least through chapter 34 of revising, or maybe even 35. If I could get through what exists, that'd be great. But I'm going to put 33, so that way that leaves me a total of 5 chapters to revise at the beginning of March, and hopefully it's less than that, but we'll have to see once we get there. I'd love it if I was beyond chapter 33 when I'm ending February, but again, I want to be realistic, which is great. Okay, second goal is to live stream. I'm going to put 3 times for this month, and we'll do once as a guest, twice as a host, and try to up the amount of times I'm hosting in the month of February. And then for the month of February, I do think it would be cool if I did right before work for an hour on Wednesdays still, and maybe Thursdays. If I just made it a 2-day-a-week thing where I do it both of those days, that would be good. And I think it would get me in a good habit of adding that time, which would be awesome. And then again, I want to upload a YouTube video weekly. That one is just going to stay the same. I probably don't even really need to put that one, but sometimes, I don't know if anyone else out there is like this, I like writing a goal that I know I can cross off. It just feels good. And then in the month of March, I'm going to go ahead and add live stream 4 times to kind of get back in the rhythm of live streaming regularly. Wow, I can't talk. Twice as a guest and twice as a host. And then for the month of March, I'm going to go ahead and leave my goal as writing before work twice a week. So the thing about this goal is that I feel like I can adjust this if I need to, in that I could do it at that coffee shop, or I could do it, or at home. Sorry, can't talk. Okay, now upload a YouTube video weekly. Okay, so this is my first quarter, and I'm going to call that complete for now. I can obviously adjust it if I need to, but I really would love to see myself stay consistent in completing the goals that I set for myself. So now that I'm done planning out all of quarter 1, I could go in and plan out quarter 2, 3, and 4. However, I think I'm going to wait to plan out at least quarter 2 until the end of March or mid-March. I would like to see where I get in revision in quarter 1, and if I'm able to complete these goals. I think I should. These things feel like really attainable goals, but they will really put me in a good spot for the rest of 2025. I think quarters 2, 3, and 4 are going to be grind time for getting this book closer to the point where it can be published and sent off to beta readers and editors and things like that. I do have a goal of getting this book out to beta readers in late quarter 2, which would put me somewhere in the middle of the summer, which would give me time to implement beta reader feedback early fall, and then go through another round of edits and possibly send it off to an editor by late fall, early winter time of quarter 4. So that's kind of the rough outline, but again, I'm not going to put any of that in writing yet. I'd like to see where I get through in quarter 1. However, I feel like these things should be attainable. I think telling you guys and writing them down are two things that will keep me just accountable to getting them done. But I'm feeling really good about it. I feel reset. I feel like I have my mind in the right space and my eyes on the horizon. I'm feeling really good. And I'd love to kind of start this quarter off with a good little bit of progress and maybe do some writing sprints with you guys. So if you want to grab your current whip or a good book or literally anything, maybe a fun drink, I'm going to do, I think, 2 15-minute writing sprints, and I'd love to have you guys join. I do think I am going to put them in kind of a time-lapse thing. I'm not going to sit here and record for 30 minutes because, well, I want you to watch the whole video. So feel free to do 2 15-minute sprints on your own or just watch me write for a little while, and I will catch up with you guys in a little bit. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I just finished up my sprints. They both went really well, and I was able to get quite a good idea of where I'm at right now after a bit of a break. And honestly, it gave me a little bit more clarity going back into this. I think there were some things, even in the chapters I was in the middle of revising, that I was able to see after taking a few weeks off that I wasn't seeing when I was revising them the first time. So that made me feel excited and like I'm going to have a good quarter. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you got a little reset in. I hope you have some good goals set up for yourself for 2025. I can't wait to hear about them. And I can't wait to keep you guys in the loop on mine. If you enjoyed this video and you want to stay up to date on how my 2025 year goes in terms of shooting for self-publishing and revising my first novel, please hit that subscribe button and introduce yourself in the comments. I would love to say hey and get to know you a little bit better. Also, if you're interested in any of the equipment I used to film today's video, I have that all linked down in this description below. Feel free to check those things out if you're looking to upgrade your own filming setup for 2025. And I also have my Ko-fi link in the description below if you want to buy me a virtual coffee. I'd love that. Okay, thanks guys. I'll see you next week. Bye.